Oh, God, very bright, the lights. Morning, everyone. I hope you slept well after all that singing last night. And hello to all those people who've joined us today who weren't with us last night. Welcome. It's wonderful to have so many people here from so many countries and of all ages. And we've got representation, which I think my grandfather would have been delighted with, from Sandhurst and from his old regiment, the Queen's Own Hussars. We've got some wonderful, wonderful speakers, and I want to thank them for all they're doing, for giving their time and their expertise so generously. The speakers come from many countries and all around the globe, as do the delegates. I made the mistake last night of naming some of the places they came from. And it ended up in a sort of pantomime, so I'm not naming a single place. But everyone comes from a place which shall not be named. This conference is about celebrating my grandfather's life, his whole life, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, the remembered and the forgotten, the fun and the more serious. We can learn about the Dardanelles, which gave him such grief and sorrow, and how to play bezique, which gave him such pleasure. I want to thank everyone who's made this possible. Of course, Derek and the wonderful committee, and Alan, without whom nothing would ever happen. But also, I want to thank especially Tina Flaherty, Ron Luke, and Paul Roger Champagne for all they have generously given in support, sponsorship, and time. I would also like to thank Basha Hamilton for the wonderful portrait which is going to be auctioned tonight. And just to tell you a little bit about her, which I didn't do last night. Basha is a very famous portrait painter. She's Polish, and she's been living in London for a very, very long time. And among the many, many portraits she has painted, she painted the last portrait of the Pope, of Pope John Paul, and the last portrait of the Queen Mother, including, she's recently painted a wonderful portrait of Tina Flaherty with her dogs, and she's also painted many of the children of the Churchill family. She's in the middle of painting one of me, but it hasn't been finished yet. This last year has been an extraordinary year with the commemorations in January, 50 years after the death of my grandfather and the state funeral, and more recently, the VE Day anniversary. It's also been a sad one. We heard last night a heartfelt tribute from Lawrence Geller to Martin Gilbert. But for us, that is not the only loss that we've had during the last year. I will now call on one of the great pillars of the Churchill Centre, Craig Horne, who will pay tribute to my aunt, Mary Soames, who died last year.